Hello, welcome back to Happy Catastrophe. This is Candace, or Sister, as I am a Buddhist nun, and you can surely call me Sister or Candace. This is my very first flip through, trying really hard to keep that glare out of your eyes. I saw this book not flipped through on YouTube, but someone was doing, had a whip in it, was showing it as part of their plans for the month. And I was like, what? A Chinese book. This is by CocoWyo. And the reason I don't do many flips is because all of my books are purchased because I saw them of a flip of yours. So there are flips out there of everything that I own. But I had never seen this one. So I thought, well, I'll do a flip today in case you've never seen it. Now, again, like I said, it's a CocoWyo book. It's a big size book. It's a full size book. I know lately they've been doing a lot of squares, but this is the full size. And this one, now I went to China a few years back for a couple of weeks. It was my first time ever being there, and I fell in love with the culture. I loved the people. I loved the food. I loved the traditions. I was there during their national holiday, and it was interesting and exciting. And but their honoring of all of their monuments, their history, just amazing. And the colors, everything was beautiful. So I am really excited to get into this book. Now this book, I don't know if you can tell, but wow, look at that black. It is so well done. It's not a new book, 2021. My books are printed, Amazon printed out of Las Vegas, and they almost always come to me with big lines. And like I've said before in past videos, I send them back. And I get a return, and I say right on there, poorly printed. And usually they come back the second time around, better printed. But this one right off the bat was beautiful. So I'm very excited. Here's the book belongs to you page. Now, a test color page. This is the thicker CocoWyo paper. It's the stuff, it is Amazon printed, but I actually kind of like this paper because I use alcohol markers on it, which is my favorite medium. And I know how alcohol markers perform on this paper. Now, some papers are much thinner, like I found the Spooky Girl paper to be a lot thinner, but this is nice and thick. So alcohol markers will perform very well on here, although they may change color from what you expect. So do use the test practice page. I know what my alcohol markers will do, so I just usually just go straight to page. Look at that. It's a dragon. We're going to have some that go this way, and I will turn it so you can see. Wow. Now, there's no frame, and it goes side to side, which bothers some people. This is probably my second choice, right? We all like the framing, but none of us like no frame and lots of empty space. So if you can't have frames, then just make the image go all the way to the side of the picture is what I say. Isn't she beautiful? Now, you'd have a lot of fun with her making that eye makeup, making the whole face painted. That would be beautiful. You may be able to hear some birds and such in the background. I have my French doors open and the screen doors letting the breeze in, and you can hear the sounds of the forest around me. Look at that. A dragon guarding the shrine or the palace. Neat. Hey, now these are bao buns. Funny story, when I was ordained, before I was ordained, I was given a Dharma name by my teacher, and my teacher is American and I'm American, but the tradition we follow is Vietnamese. So I was given the surname Min, M-I-N-H, which is the name all of us in our tradition has, and it means bright. And then he gave me, excuse me while I cough, hold on. Thank you. I'm just getting over a cold. So my teacher gave me the second name of Bao, which B-A-O, which in Vietnamese means gem, so I'm bright gem. And but in my in my inability sometimes to control what comes out of my mouth, in this kind of formal but private ceremony where I was given this name, I shouted out, "Bao, that's my favorite Chinese dumpling." I was told not to do that again, and of course I did. When I was ordained as a novice nun, I got paper lanterns and I think peacocks. Yeah. When I was ordained as a novice nun, and shortly afterwards I was introduced as Sister Min Bao, I shouted out again, "Yep, my favorite Chinese dumplings." So after that ordination, which many more strange things happened. My best friend there, who was also being ordained, he brought a bunch of frozen bao. And we microwaved them and ate them. It was awesome. I still love those things. But bao is Chinese and bao is Vietnamese for gem. So I'm actually not a dumpling, although I would argue that. These, I found out while I was in China, are protective figurines. And lots of times they're all one, like a dragon, or all a dog or something. And what I learned while I was there is for many buildings like this, the more of these you have, the higher the nobility was that used that palace. So that's interesting, huh? Whoa. This would be so much fun to make it shiny like jewels. And I love these like wood and paper backgrounds. This would be fun. And mirrors. There would be a lot of really fun things to try out with this. Oh, a fan. Now this is neat because it's got the really iconic, what looks like the wave, but isn't that Japanese? So why would it? I don't know. Very interesting. You could make this into, here's some of the mountains that are in China. You could really have fun with. Now here is one you could do something beautiful with the background. And I definitely would. Another funny story during my ordination. Now see, my lineage is Tien, which is Vietnamese for Chen, which is Chinese for Zen. So it's a Zen tradition. It's just been mispronounced as it passed from country to country. But it looks by now, the Vietnamese tradition that I follow looks very different from the Chinese tradition. But tea is very important to the tradition. Tea is very important to all of the traditions out there. But some of the monks that I know have some beautiful tea sets from China. These types of cookies, I say cookies, but they've got like a soft filling, and then the external is almost like a fondant or a dough type thing. And these are stamps, and different festivals, different stores, different makers of the cookies will have different stamps. You can actually buy those stamps and from Amazon, I think, and you can actually make those. There's a lot of great recipes online and on YouTube. These look like pheasants. Some kind of a pheasant. Neat. I love the branches. So this would be an outside view looking in, I think. These are the birds, the quail or the pheasant outside on the tree, but then there's a branch that goes through. You could do anything. You could make, these could be in and out. You could be inside looking out, but you have like something that looks like a cloud maybe. This is sort of abstract. I'd love to see what someone like Doodle Robot would do with this page. Cool. This would be fun to do with metals, practice working metals. And again, has sort of that abstract background. It would be fun to make this just all metallic. Really interesting. Here's Buddha. Now, the Chinese, for Buddhism being greatly oppressed and disapproved and unsupported by the government, there's a lot of Buddhist monasteries in China. And there's some beautiful ones in Beijing that you can actually go into, and You can't take pictures of the monks. I tried. But you can go in and see the monastery. And these are working monasteries, and they're beautiful statues and such. Now, these monasteries are heavily controlled and by the government. And so the monks are go about their business a little bit quietly and covertly. But they are allowed to practice. Possibly because Buddhism is not, although some countries practice it as a religion, it's not by definition a religion. There's no God in Buddhism. You can be any religion you want and be a Buddhist. You can be a Christian Buddhist or a Jewish Buddhist. It's a spiritual practice. So that might be why the government allows it, because they don't sanction churches. This is like the monkey god, isn't it? On his staff. This one would be fun. I'd love to do this one in like pinks and blues. And I don't know why. I look at these swirly abstract clouds and I always think pink and blue. I should step out a little bit. But how fun. The myth of the monkey god. He was a great fighter for justice. Look at this dragon. The Chinese dragons are so much fun. The difference between the Chinese dragons and the European dragons is the European dragons, they kind of have the shape of like a dinosaur or a horse. You know, they can walk on all four legs, where the Chinese dragon is more like a serpent. And they'll have like maybe only 2 legs, or they'll have 2 legs at front, 2 legs at the back, but they're really short legs, and they're built more like a serpent. And they often have lots of fire. And they're also different colors depending on the seasons. You can't have a Chinese book without the iconic Yin Yang Fish. So I just read somewhere that they swim in opposite directions, but I don't understand that, because to me they're swimming in the same direction. But it's supposed to portray the opposite yin and yang, you know, the positive and negative and the going and coming, and how everything has an opposite in the world. I would love to make this metal again. I'm all into making metal now that I've figured out how to do it. It's taken me a while. This is one of those like warrior masks or an actor mask. You see this in Chinese opera. Heavily painted black, whites, and reds. Be a lot of fun. Jack's growling in the background because he sees someone that he needs to talk to, and I'm sitting here filming instead. Noodles! If any of you have seen Kung Fu Panda, every time I say noodles. And again, those mountains that I just love to make varying colors depending on what time of day. Like this would be fun to make it sunrise or sunset, but the noodles. It's enough, Jack. I know, he's a friend. Another sort of abstract of everything China, right? And it's beautiful. Could get lost in a picture like this and just make it all kinds of colors. This would be fun for one of those that's like a 1-color challenge or a limited palette, just to remake it, because you could do anything with this. I love it. Here's one of the guardian dogs. You all can help me. Got a little dog on his back. What's he doing to that little doggy? These were called, my COVID brain can't recall it, but they were guardians. They were dogs, and they're outside of a lot of the temples and statues. Again, the water. I wonder if it has something to do with the elements. Like we have earth and water, because I'm not sure what the water is symbolic here, but that's interesting. What's he doing? I just want to say he's tickling him. Yeah, he's tickling this little dog, right? He's not doing anything mean to that little dog. He's just tickling him. Ooh, this is the MiniTailed Lady. You see her in a Kirby book. I've seen her in anime cartoons. She's the mini-tailed fox lady. There's all kinds of mythologies about her. And I've seen so many beautiful pictures of you guys that have colored her in the Kirby book. Some made her look like like they were actually foxtails. Other people did them all different colors of the rainbow. Just beautiful. That is a beautiful picture. Well, I'd have fun doing that. And the nice thing about this is you can base it in whatever, because they're one-sided, and then put your pencils on top or paints or whatever. I base it in alcohol markers. This is neat. This is like a dragon in water. You could make this, it's a rug, Or it could be an actual like little mini little basin of water there with a statue of a dragon in it going up to this palace. I never saw any. I saw a lot of palaces, but I was only in the Beijing area and around there. This might be someplace else. Wow. And look at this. Just stunning. This could be it could be anything. Some sort of celestial happening, or it could be the ceiling. This could be inside, and this could be the ceiling of something, or just beautiful. Oh, pandas. Here's my Kung Fu Panda with her bamboo. Look at that. And again, those iconic Chinese mountains. Oh, now I love pandas, but I don't color them too often because they're just black and white. But it would be fun. This would be a fun challenge to try to make it look, I would make it look realistic. I don't know what these are called. I've seen them. They're like a lute, but I don't think they're a lute. But they make the most beautiful music. That's nice. It's really nice to have the Chinese music portrayed and represented here in this book, because in China, music is really important, and you'll hear it a lot. People play it on the streets. There's a lot of Chinese opera, Chinese theater. Their arts is very robust. They have a lot of state-supported theaters. Look at the bird. Oh, this is neat. It's like a mountain temple. Mountain shrine. It's a shrine. Look at that. I wish CocoWyo would give the names of the artists, because obviously this is an artist. And they use, they have a lot of the same stylistic clouds, and the mountains look the same. It's all the same person, and I sure like them. I love these paper lanterns. I've seen people do really neat work with them, making them glow, making them red and glow or yellow and glow. Now, that time that I went on my senior ordination, when I was finally ordained as a nun. Now, this looks like toys, but this almost looks like, I think these are toys and coins. Those are yuan. I think these are coins. Oh, I think this is a game board. Not Pai Gao. It's a, I can't remember the name of the game, but it's got these little pieces. Very complex. I've tried to find it. Yeah, a little drum. This might be ink. This might be for ink. But they more use brushes. This looks like entertainment. At my senior ordination, oh, I love this. I had just, actually it was at my novice ordination, the same one that I was served the bow at the end. It was all done via Zoom because of COVID, but I was in the temple with the head monk and a few just supporting people who were helping me get dressed and do, that were supporting me through the ritual. But everyone else was on Zoom. So at the end, I walked up to the camera, put my eyeball in it because I have a hard time being serious for that long, and said, "Thank you all for coming." And I bowed to the camera, and I turned around and I caught one of the meditation cushions with my toe and fell flat on my face. Now, it's on camera. It's on YouTube somewhere. You see me come up to the camera with my eyeball and say, "Thanks for coming." And then I turn around and boom, I'm gone. Well, I badly broke my toe. I couldn't walk. By the next day, I was one-legged. It was a bad break. And so when we ate bao, look at that tiger. When we ate bao that night, I was still up in the temple because I couldn't navigate the stairs down yet. My toe was huge and black, and they fed me bao while I was leaned up against a wall, basically. I tell you, that is my life. My life is a circus. I still limp on that toe. So this, I know it looks like artichokes, but it's that that flower, kind of a ranuncula type flower. This is beautiful. I love coloring dragonflies because you can do anything to them. They're magical little creatures. This is neat. I'm not sure what it is, except maybe a basket. Be fun if we knew what some, and that's it. Now see, mine was printed March in Las Vegas. This is a book out of 2021, Chinese. I think that's a hilarious name. It's just like Chinese. But I don't know why I think that's funny. You'd think it'd say something like China or icons of China or something, but it's Chinese. Oh, here is that one. They made it into a rug. Here, you could make it into a rug, but it looks like it has dimensions, so you could make it into water as well. Neat, a really neat book. So thank you for watching this flip through and listening to my stories. I seem to be full of them. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.